Hi there. The JW news just doesn't seem to get any better, does it? Thank you yet again to Nigel Rowley's channel for alerting me to this New Zealand documentary, Silent Lambs. It's available on, as you can see here, the Spin-Off channel. I'm going to post a link to it. I would like you to see it in its entirety there. And please do comment though. Be so good for others to know that you've seen this, that you can testify that it is accurate. So, it's produced as part of the Frame series, a partnership between Wrestler and the Spin-Off, funded by New Zealand On Air and supported by RNZ, directed by Amy Parsons King and Rebecca Parsons King. So you've got the heartbreaking stories from the adult survivors of Jehovah Witness child abuse. And I'm afraid they are what you might expect. I'll put a link to this in the description box. You might just want to go there and look at that now before I start ranting. So after some harrowing stories of the victims, the survivors, that unfortunately are not rare stories because they are repeated over and over around the globe. And if everyone others want to think that these are lies, do they think that children over decades got together across the globe and decided to invent these stories and to invent how they were treated and to invent procedures that, were part of official policy and were repeated around the globe and which are being brought to light and shamed? So, as I say, you might not want to just watch this bit because it's not going to get pretty. I've seen part of it, but not all of this. But one of the directors is calling the JW branch office because they're always really open, aren't they? Oh, yeah. Let's see.
Good morning, Watched. How can I help you?
My name's Amy Parsons King and I'm a journalist from New Zealand. I'm doing a story on how Jehovah's Witnesses deal with sexual abuse allegations. I had sent through a couple of letters. I did get a response from the second letter, but you didn't answer the questions that I put to you.
Never do.
We actually indicated that there is a policy on our position and how we handle child abuse on our website.
Yes, that it's scripturally based.
Yeah. And that's basically, Jehovah's Witnesses abide by what the Bible says.
The thing in the case of sexual abuse.
Because the Bible always says, if you have a raped child come to you, you accuse them of lying. Bible says that all the time, doesn't it? Everywhere. Liar.
Children, it could be changed because there's not witnesses to abuse.
You have to understand two different views.
Really, we have to understand? No, you have to goddamn understand what it's like. You have to understand what these people have gone through and what children may be going through now. You have to understand, not other people. Because isn't it weird that the rest of the world gets it? The rest of the world gets that you cannot and you should not treat children like this. And if it does happen, you do everything in your power to repair it. How come the rest of the world gets that, but you, God's chosen, you don't get it? Yeah, explain that. Explain that.
One comment to you, Amy. Any victim of abuse or their family are perfectly entitled to go to the authorities to report any matter. Jehovah's Witnesses will report.
You lying little shit. Because people have been disfellowshipped for doing exactly that. Again and again and again around the world, they have been disfellowshipped for reporting their own abuse, or a family reporting their abuse, or someone growing up and getting old enough to report their abuse. Is that it? Is that where your responsibility ends? Because I don't know about the rest of you, but if I hear something like that, man, no way can that continue. Get through me first. You don't do that. You're a little liar, whoever you are on the legal desk. Disgusting. Absolutely vomitous. Disgusting. You're going to tell everyone. I keep hearing this from current JWs. Oh, but they can report it. So you're telling me that a 4-year-old who doesn't know anyone outside of the J-Dubs, a 4-year-old being raped by their father, you're telling me that little child can go to the police and have the language to report that crime? Are you telling me that? Are you telling us that? If you don't protect a little tiny child who can't protect themselves, then you are worth nothing, and shove your damn New World Translation up your flaming butt.
There's been some discussion in forums about pedophiles talking about Jehovah's Witnesses being a pedophile's paradise. It seemed to me at the outset that was quite outrageous. But then when you actually read the reports of victims and you see how they were told to only trust fellow witnesses, when you are told your whole life that it's God's clean organisation and something terrible happens in it, there's no way you're going to go and report that to the police, because they are outside the circle of the clean organisation. They really need to sort their act out, but for some reason they are resistant to change, and I don't really know why, because it's so obvious that there are problems that are costing them millions and millions of dollars in lawsuits. I can't imagine why they wouldn't want to fix that. Let the congregation be about spiritual things, not handling legal matters and criminal matters, because it's not a sin, it's a crime.
I feel like my family have let me down. This abuser is allowed back into the religion, but because I've chosen not to be a part of the religion, I am now being shunned. So there's a victim being shunned. The abuser is being welcomed. He has access to children. There are plenty of children in the congregations. There always are. So, yeah, he could be sitting next to one right now in one of the meetings.
I look back, I think, how do I deal with that? You know, that's such a young age, and they've lost everything. All your friends and your religion, everything's gone, and it lives with you forever. You know, it doesn't go away.
I think it was the first time as a young Jehovah's Witness that I realised that the organisation is not geared to protect you. The attitude of the elders at the time was quite frankly disgusting. And I mean, I was a teenage girl who was, you know, as we said, you know, there were so many things in our lives that restricted us.
Jehovah's Witnesses have enabled Owen, and I would suggest a lot of other men, to continue doing what they're doing, because there's no consequences. You get a slap on the hand, you just have to sit at the back of the hall for a year, but you're back in, and no one else knows. Owen is still a Jehovah's Witness. I mean, he got out of prison, went back to meetings, and he is a practicing Jehovah's Witness, which means he's attending meetings, he's out witnessing, knocking on people's doors, people with young kiddies. He's actively a witness. Again.
Wow. If you're able to watch these sorts of programs and not cry, then you must be a JW, because it's impossible, isn't it? And it's the same stories. Please keep getting this information out there. Thank you.